Welcome to In the House. Today, I talk with John Nelson of Austin Retrofit. Austin Retrofit is a window and door supplier and installer in the Austin area. We talk about the history of the company, starting with John's father, and the growth of the company over the years. John talks about the mission of Austin Retrofit and how he keeps employees on track with those goals. Every builder and subcontractor knows that each new job is a potential lawsuit. So we dive into what project managers need to know in order to mitigate their risk. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you do, please share with a friend. Thanks for listening. Well, hey, today on In the House, we have John with Austin Retrofit. And it's what, second, third generation now?
It's second right now.
Right now?
Maybe third. We'll see how my younger one does.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, y'all staying pretty busy?
We're very busy. In fact, right now we're extremely busy with quoting. Austin hasn't skipped a beat.
Nice. Well, let's kind of go into the history, if you will, of Austin Retrofit. Like, how did it get started, and what's the mission, behind the company?
Well, my dad started it back in, I'd say, the mid to late 90s. Actually, it was late 90s. And we didn't like our jobs that we were working. And we were doing windows on the side and realized it was a good living. So we decided to quit our jobs one day and go full on with this Austin Retrofit thing. Got approached by Home Depot that they wanted us to install for 19 different stores in Central Texas. Wow. So having a nice contract like that right off the chute was good.
That's helpful.
Entertaining. So we decided to put all chips in, and office to have his garage, and had I was using the side of his house for trailer and window storage. And about 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, he retired, and I blinked twice, and we are where we're at.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of high-end new construction now, not just window replacement, although we do still focus on that. We love the window replacement market. We're honest, we're fair, we know these jobs, and everything that we learn from the new construction market in terms of waterproofing, design, we can actually put that into our replacement side of business, and that elevates us from our competitors.
It seems like that's kind of this endless feedback loop where the stuff that you're learning on the new construction you apply to sort of the retrofit or the remodel side, but then also on the remodel side you can see a lot of mistakes that were made and help you on the construction side say, hey, we just did this remodel, and this is what I saw, this is what caused it to fail. So let's try to avoid that. I mean,
you're exactly right.
Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with just general construction. I'll look at a new construction job and go, oh, man, there's nothing to worry about here because it's the same scenarios we had of this window replacement job we did a few weeks ago. But also with product too. We know what products work and what different manufacturers have failed through the years.
What do you use? Like, what do you stand behind? What products would you say, hey, let's shy away from these? We've had issues with this in the past. Or...
Well, there's a lot of products that are on our blacklist. I don't want to name drop certain ones, but there's, it's evolving. You have to really look at it. We look at it from several different angles. And number one is the support we get from the manufacturer. Mm-hmm. If we feel like we're losing support, they're not giving us the warranty items that we need to find a different company. It might be the best window and door manufacturer. If we don't have the support, which means our customer doesn't get the support, we need to break away from that company. Yeah. There's a lot of manufacturers, because of the price point, it's, quote, easy to sell. Yeah. We try to stay away from those. If it's easy to sell, that means it's cheap.
Yep.
It's fast. But what about the service afterwards? We provide warranties, and we have to make sure that we have the manufacturer support 10 years down the road if we need it. So, but specific brands, we like them all. Okay, the ones that we carry, we're very big on because of the service. If we have a problem, we make one phone call. It's usually taken care of.
Yeah.
But we also install for other companies or other manufacturers that we don't have access to.
Okay.
And just because we don't sell it doesn't mean we're going to say it's a bad brand. I mean, you might bring me a job, go, hey, what about this window and door manufacturer? Hey, they're great. You know, buy direct or buy through another dealer. We'll help you through consulting, measuring, installation, waterproofing, you know, the whole 9 yards. So we're not, just because we carry a product doesn't necessarily mean it's the best product for your project.
Understood. Yeah. Well, what's y'all's bread and butter? What do you think you do the most?
Bread and butter right now. It's funny. Aluminum clad wood windows with simulated divided light. It seems like every architect is speccing that right now, which was kind of it's a little old school, but it's coming back. We're doing a lot of that. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily a specific brand or manufacturer, but I have noticed a lot of aluminum clad wood.
Just that style.
I think so. And I think a lot of these we do a lot of European brands, and they're great. They're pricey. The lead time's longer.
Yeah.
Warranty implications. If you have something that's not correct, next thing you know, it's a 20-week lead time, 15-week lead time. You know, as far as the domestic brands, aluminum clad wood, huge. Thermally broken aluminum, that will never go out, especially with the architects that we have in this town, speccing out that contemporary modern look. Mm-hmm. There's several, many good manufacturers out there. Sometimes we kind of look at a project and go, well, they'll be great for windows, but not doors, or vice versa, or swing doors, sliding doors, folding doors. So we kind of have to vet that ahead of time.
Yeah.
And that's strictly based on our experience with the product. And then, of course, thermally broken steel, huge in this town.
Oh, yeah. That's massive right now.
And unfortunately, you do have steel suppliers that are not thermally broken, and they're not very good at all with condensation and everything there. But so you have this huge price difference between, you know, your entry level, you and I go in the backyard and start welding up steel windows and doors to an actual tested, qualified, ALMA approved, thermally broken steel unit.
Yeah.
The pricing between the two are huge.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Convincing that to your client sometimes might be a little bit tough, but at least in this market with our architects, they usually, hey, we want the best. If we're going to spend this much money, we want something quality.
Exactly. Y'all have your own warranty, I guess, on the products. But I mean, so do you have to be certified in any way through X manufacturer to do any kind of service to their windows after the fact, or have it?
Some manufacturers have that, where they have actually their preferred warranty or maintenance or techs,
right?
And usually they contract that out through a dealer.
Okay.
We're a little bit different because most of the stuff that we sell, we install.
Sure.
Therefore, we're on the hook for if it's installed incorrectly and that's what caused the warranty, we're on the hook for it.
Yeah.
But typically, the manufacturer will provide any part, glass, frame, whatever you need. They just don't provide the labor portion of it. If you're getting it more of a turnkey package, then the customer's a little safer with, okay, you supplied everything, including installation.
Yeah.
Or you're going to cover the labor portion of replacing this big piece of glass that fogged up. You know, we have warranty terms. It differs depending on the job.
Yeah.
All jobs are different risk levels.
For sure.
We have some projects where, it's no problem offering a long warranty. It's you walk up and the guy, a couple guys can do the work. Other projects where it requires a crane and 10 dudes and everything else, shutting down the street.
A robot or something.
We're not going to offer the warranty on those projects. We can't. I mean, we can charge up front, but that's not right for the client. So every job, and that's one thing I've found out, every job is a little bit different when it comes to that. And I think that's just overall with all subcontractors. They look at these projects and, okay, what's my risk?
Yeah.
What's my liability here? Okay, wow, this is great. And we love the crazy. We get called for the crazy projects. Yeah. We like the big stuff, the complicated stuff. The business side of our company is it worth it?
Right.
Like, is this going to come and get us later down the road?
Well, shoot, even general contractors, they look at it from that perspective as well. Is it worth it? And yeah,
absolutely.
like you said, I mean, it's you're trying to. I mean, that's why we are contractors.
Yeah,
exactly. If everybody did what they were supposed to do, and if everybody was honest, and nothing ever broke, you would never need contracts. But because people sometimes do the wrong thing or make mistakes, well, you got to have that contract for protection. But
sure. Like, I mean, builders at the mercy of their subcontractors. We're at the mercy of our employees, the boots on the ground. We're at the mercy of the project manager on that project. So it's you have to always weigh that. Okay, is it worth it? It's cool, man. We want to do it. It's exciting. No one's ever done this before. I mean, we're on one right now where there's a piece of glass. It weighs about a little over 3,000 pounds.
Ooh.
And it's going to be one of the tallest IGUs I think ever installed in this city, minus the Tesla building.
No kidding.
And I mean, we're too far into this project to go, no, we can't do it. We did everything we could to talk the architect out of it, but they won. We're doing it.
We're stubborn.
It's going to be great.
What's the square footage? I mean, you said the tallest. How tall?
It's 22 feet tall.
Oh my gosh!
It's an IGU. I think it's only like 6 or 7 feet wide. It's tricky.
That is tricky.
But it sounds great.
I didn't even know you could get glass that big.
There's one company that you can get it from apparently, and they actually offer a warranty, which is crazy. Wow. Sometimes you can get these big pieces of glass that don't offer a warranty. But we did everything we could to kind of talk them out of it, but. Okay, so we have to do it. Let's have a positive attitude about it. Yeah. We're going to get it done. On the front end, we're trying to, if something was to happen to this glass, warranty related, we'll get a new piece, but they're not going to provide labor.
Right.
And if we have to, disassemble half your house to get this huge piece of glass in there, then, I mean, that's it needs to be, the customer, the client, the homeowner needs to know about this stuff. And this has happened in the past with some of our projects. They broke a big piece of glass, the landscaper did, and didn't realize that door panel cost $30,000 and shipping and everything else. So it's very important to be very clear up front, but also going back to what you're saying, it's, it's exciting. That's the challenges we like. And just hopefully they don't go south. Communication
is so critical, man. It's like, it's the most critical thing, yet it's one of the most difficult things to do correctly. Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody has their own way of communicating, but man, it's so critical for a successful project. But it's along those lines. In your opinion, what is kind of a recipe for success? Because I'm sure you have a kind of a pre-install or a pre-construction type walkthrough. And then there's the install. So. In your mind, when it comes to windows and doors, how do you set your project up for success?
Well, back to communication. It starts there.
Yes.
Make sure the architect, builder, homeowner, we're all on the same page. Mm-hmm. We have an in-house CAD department, if you will, so we can help out with details as it relates to waterproofing, fastening. We look beyond the product. In fact, when we look at a job, the first thing we look at before we try to pitch a certain brand, we look at the overall job. Okay, oh wow, we need this type of door with this drop in the threshold, and it's going steel to steel, floor to ceiling. There's no waterproofing details. Number one, how can we make this thing not leak?
Yeah.
So it starts with we have a guy named Steve. He does our CAD drawings, and he's helped out architects in the past with, hey, this is what we need to do to keep water out, and this is how we can fasten it. And when it comes to the structural engineering part, okay, that's above our head.
Right.
But we make sure that's taken care of.
Hopefully.
And then with the product, there's a lot of windows and doors that you can buy these days that have no ratings. I mean, you can get this huge window wall system that's cost you a fortune, but in fine print, this has never been tested.
Yep.
There's no design pressure rating. There's no air infiltration, water intrusion, nothing.
Yeah.
And people do that all the time. So it's very important. One of the keys to success, get those things in line. Make sure you're vetting a product that's going to pass all those requirements.
To kind of dive into that, has it always been that way? Has there always been manufacturers like, we don't test these windows, like you're on the hook?
I think this has been happening for the last 10 years.
Really?
Before all the craziness, you always had that little AMA sticker on your window. No matter what it was. It could be a Linko mill finish aluminum window, it's going to have some kind of ALMA rating. Well, I think when a lot of people in general found out that, well, really, we don't need a license. You have to follow, we always have an inspection on these jobs. But if the architect specs out such and such brand or manufacturer and they don't have ratings, and the builder is following their instructions, going, okay, we need to put this big window and door system in this opening on this cliff where they're going to get 65 to 100 mile an hour winds with rain.
Yeah.
The product might not be suited for that.
Right.
That's what they recommended. That's what's going to hit make that house. And that, at the end of the day, that's what we're after, right? We want to make sure the architect's intent, we execute on the builder side and on my side with windows and doors. But there is there's a big gray area in the industry where, you don't need to really, you provide solar heat gain and U-factor numbers with your glass.
Right.
But there's a lot of products installed. I mean, we sell products where in red writing at the bottom of the spec sheet says only uses for well-protected areas.
Sure. Yeah.
It's completely legal for us to sell and install, but if something was to happen down the road, the client doesn't want to see it. The homeowner is, wait, I never saw this.
Right.
Why would I want that? And a lot of times it's not architecturally driven. It's just something that the dealer is pushing for that project. So I think they're going to clamp down. I'm hoping they clamp down on it pretty soon. I'm definitely not about over-regulating the industry.
Yeah, me neither.
But I do think there should be a little more checks and balances when it comes to selecting the right product, when it comes to design, load, all that kind of stuff.
Well, what kind of regulation would even solve that problem?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, it goes from product and then installation, right? So it's funny how we build these big, expensive homes. What do you need a license from the state for? You need what? Electrical, plumbing, HVAC?
Yeah.
Do you need a license for roofing? Do you need a license for waterproofing, vertical fenestration, windows and doors, framing? You don't really need a license for that. And again, I'm not advocating for it, but it's interesting. It just kind of begs
the question. Yeah.
It begs the question, and not just big, expensive homes, but just like your normal cookie cutter house too.
Yeah.
Like none of that, all those people working, they don't need a license. Even the owner of the companies don't need license. So I think there's an area there where, I don't know, maybe it needs to be looked at a little bit. I could say that we sell the value of proper waterproofing, proper installation. We do our due diligence on making sure this project, no matter what we're trying to work with in terms of the actual window and door manufacturer, the framing, the seals, like how do we make everything work? You got to look outside of all that and go, okay, is this real? Is this been tested? Are we all making everybody a liability down the road because this is just something we want to do?
Well, I mean, that's a good example right there. You don't need regulation to tell you that you need to go through all these details and make sure that the waterproofing is correct, or that the install is, correct, and that these windows are tested. Nobody's sitting here telling you need to do that, but you take it upon yourself because you know that that's right. Yeah. Because that's what makes you one of the best in town, is because, you're going to do the right thing. You know what's right. You know what needs to be done. And so you're going to do it. And I think, if you get into this discussion about, regulating, I think that sets kind of a floor, if you will, where now you just have, this is the bare minimum, right?
Right.
And that's kind of the same thing with the code. I think I was talking to somebody about this the other day, but the code was written for like life safety and things like that. And I think the hope was that this, the code, the way it's written, building code, is that, this is the level that you should achieve. But I think it ended up, instead of being a ceiling, right, something to attain, now it's like a floor. This is the bare minimum to pass code or to pass inspection, where it's like, clearly, there's room for improvement and you can go above and beyond. And I think, kind of in this, free market mindset is, the cream's always going to rise to the top.
Right.
Those who go above and beyond and do their best work always and with integrity, they're going to be known for that, and they're going to rise to the top. And all the subcontractors who do the same thing, who, no matter what it costs them, no matter how painful it is, they're always going to do the right thing because they know it's right. And, they're going to be rewarded for that. And those who don't, those who either intentionally do wrong, maliciously, or, just maybe make a mistake, well, you're going to learn from those mistakes, hopefully, and move on. But, if you're out there doing the wrong thing, you're going to pay the consequences for that.
Yeah.
You're going to go out of business, or you're going to be sued.
Exactly.
So it's like, I don't know. Like you said, it kind of begs the question, as far as, should something be regulated? But,
You'd be surprised how many jobs we go to. We didn't have anything to do with the project. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe they're the second owner. Of course, the builder's gone. They're, fly-by-nights. And, hey, I have this leaky door. And we look at it and we're like, there's no way we can actually fix this. Like, this is and it might be from a real well-known manufacturer, but just looking at for example, if it's a entry pivot door with an ADA threshold, you can spit on this thing and make water come in.
Yeah.
But they were unaware of that, but it's okay, right? Even though and it passes the inspection. And,
right.
That some of the information, going back to communication, some of that stuff never got back to the homeowner or even the architect maybe, or the builder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, look, you want this product, we can get it for you, or we can make it, or whatever it is, but know that you're going to have these problems down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Well, some customers, if they're like, hey, fine, I'm okay, I'll take it. The next owner, or if it's not communicated to that current owner, then it's always, well, I didn't know this was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it happens all the time, of course, and I'm completely okay with people coming up with their own, windows and doors and, good they might not have all the proper testing from AMA and ASTM and all that, but it is nice from an installer's point of view that we're installing something that's at least been tested a little bit. It's robust. We don't have to worry about, let's face it, if something happens to that product, they're going to call us before they call the manufacturer.
Yeah.
We have a local number, they have a 1-800 number type thing. So we're going to get called. We have to deal with it. So, if we're doing an install only, we got to make sure that product is good for that application.
Mm-hmm.
We're not perfect. We've sold some stuff where it's like a nail biter, like, oh, I hope it works. Everything we looked at, our experience, it looks like it's going to work, but that's what keeps me up at night sometimes.
Oh yeah, for sure. Every time it rains, right?
Yeah, rains. Yeah, anything.
Well, what's your advice, I guess, for project managers or superintendents? Like, things that maybe you've seen and experienced in the field. What? How do you set something up for success?
Well, in my opinion, as it relates to my industry, windows and doors. If someone's trying to sell you the best window and door on the market and they don't mention anything about installation, waterproofing, then I would back away a little bit. I'm not saying it's a bad product, but if you're dealing with a builder, the project manager, the superintendent, boots on the ground, they have to deal with all these problems.
Yes.
So it's really easy to sell a sexy product because of the price point or bells and whistles. But let's say, okay, how is this going to work in this application? And I'm not saying grill the dealer on exactly. Maybe they don't know, but hopefully they can delegate to somebody else within their company to tell you how it should be done.
Yeah,
I think that's first and foremost. In addition to that, obviously our windows are the best ever because we sell it. You got to kind of get. A lot of project managers, especially again in our area, they're smart enough and experienced enough to that's kind of the old school mentality approach. Yeah. Especially if they have an exclusive on a product, of course they're going to try to pitch that as much as they can. But also, ask for, okay, what's the design pressure rating? Can you do something different with the frame or the glass? We're building this house on the top of Stratford and we need, a rating of 55 PSF. Can you provide that? can you change something within your product
Sure.
to allow that? So those kind of things, I think that's very important for project managers. Get beyond the cost and the lead time and all the fanciness with the product, but what's going to really affect us down the road? You get that vetted, and then you go back to okay, we want automated opening, we want this, we want that, but let's make sure we don't get in some serious trouble down the road together.
Yeah, right.
So that would be number one for sure. And again, cost. Someone asked me one time, what's the best window that you sell? And I said that's relative to a lot. Number one, what's your budget? What's the style, architecture of the house? And we're talking new construction or replacement, either one. Are you more about function rather than? There's so many things involved in that.
Yeah.
Where you can't just go, oh, well, I think the best window is this awesome thermally broken bronze window from Europe.
Yeah.
Well, if my budget's X and this is
right,
X times
it's what's best
10,
for the budget.
It's not the right product.
Yep.
So you really have to kind of vet with cost, function, all that kind of thing. So you just have, I think, for builders and or project managers, superintendents, builders, even architects at that point, they have a design and they're going off maybe past jobs they had a lot of success on.
Sure.
Hey, okay, this would be perfect for this application, but kind of look at it. Okay, is it really the best one?
Yeah.
And trust me, we've turned down a lot of jobs because we look at it, we look at the budget, we look at time frame, the options they want, and we just don't have anything.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, hey, why don't you reach out to such and such?
Sure.
Oh, aren't they a competitor? Yeah, but they're great. Call them up. Let us know. I mean, we'll love to help you however we can.
Yeah.
We're not going to try to say, oh, well, you have to get this just because we sell it.
Yeah.
We're not territorial by no means.
I gotcha. Y'all do custom fabrication, right? Like in-house?
We do. We have in-house fabrication. It was an idea that got brought to me about 4 years ago. At first, it was a hard no. Man, it's hard enough to deal with what we deal with. But as I kind of looked around and saw the niche, I thought, well, you know what? Let's entertain it.
Okay.
And Lonnie, I swear, like we just blinked a couple times and bam, it was happening.
Right.
And it's a Belgium design, Belgium window door company called Rainers, and we decided to open up our own fab shop.
Okay.
Which actually kind of it followed our mindset.
Okay.
We want to take care of everything. We're on the hook for product installation, waterproofing, CAD drawing in certain circumstances. Well, we're still at the mercy of the manufacturer.
Yep.
So let's take that on. Again, the business side of things will tell you you're crazy. Too much liability. But on the, hey, we take a lot of pride in what we do. We know what we're doing.
Right.
I got really lucky. We just happened to hire the absolute best people for that fab shop.
Nice.
Meticulous, smart, they get it. And we only fabricate what we install. So now you have this good checks and balances between trust me, if the installers go out and try to do something or try to do an install and something's wrong, we will know about it. You know?
For sure.
And also, I have the opportunity of getting the fabricating guys out of the shop and going to job sites. Hey, go check it out. Is there something the installers did wrong? Is there something we're missing? And they look at more of the actual product. We have the installers. We always do these post-installation walkthroughs and all that. So it's been really, really special. It's limited. It's a small fab shop. So we can only do maybe 12 projects a year. They provide certain products that the other companies that we represent don't.
Okay.
A lot of times it comes just really large lift and slide doors with transoms that shouldn't bear the weight on the top jam, that kind of stuff. They have solutions for all that. It's definitely high end, very energy efficient. We can use any kind of glass we want. We're not stuck with just Cardinal. We can shop around. In fact, the project I was telling you about with the 22-foot tall IGU, it's Rainer's frames And we have to make sure that frame can support the weight of that glass, and we can get the glass from a supplier that's going to give us a warranty.
Right.
So it's a learning curve. As soon as I thought I knew everything about windows and doors, we started fabricating. I was like, oh, geez. Wow, what's this? Why do we need to do this? It's constant learning. We have taken a lot of pride in that. Again, it's limited.
Yeah.
But it's been fun.
What's the biggest struggle right now? I mean,
in general, or with the fab shop?
Well, yeah. I mean, what's your biggest hurdle, you think?
Well, I think we could talk about skilled labor.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
It's hard to find.
Yeah.
We keep praising, and I'm for it, praising these big companies that are moving to Austin. Mm-hmm. It's great. It's good. Good for the economy. The majority of their jobs are factory jobs.
Sure.
Where are they getting those employees? They're poaching on construction. They're poaching on mechanics. Mm-hmm. They're going, hey, you make how much? And you're going up to scaffolding and midsummer in Austin when it's 105 or in the freezing rain, whatever it is.
Sure.
Hey, come do this in a factory setting and make the same amount of money, instant benefits, work for a big company, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I think Austin's in for a rude awakening when it comes to skilled. Just the cost is going to continue. I mean, we've already skilled labor cost in Austin's very expensive as it is, but it's going to continue to go up, and I think it's going to be a problem. Especially with company, we do the W-2 full-time employees, benefits, paid vacation, that kind of stuff. We don't 1099. Mm-hmm. You can get away with it with the 1099, and certain subcontractors might have different programs lined out for their employees. But I think that's a big struggle. And again, I'm not saying this because anybody in my company will agree, we have some of the best installers we can ever think of right now.
Awesome.
We have to treat them good.
Yeah.
We have to build a culture that they buy into. Mm-hmm. We have to show proof. Like I don't manage behind a desk. I'm out with the guys. I'm helping them do as much as I can. I'm doing the silly stuff like putting screens and trying to adjust a door. It goes a long ways with them. But I do think that's one of our biggest struggles. I think it just in subcontractor industry in general. Talking to a lot of guys I know that run their different type of, if it's roofing, masonry, framing, we're all going through the same struggles.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest hurdles. I think some of these, big fancy jobs, the potential lawsuits always going through everybody's mind. Obviously it starts with the builder, but trust me, it goes down to everybody. And then the uncertainty. I mean, luckily, again, we've been so lucky to live in this town with the best architects, some of the best builders.
For sure.
All this money coming in.
Agreed.
It's crazy to see a house getting torn down on Westlake Drive on the water. We're like, did they just tear down a $10 million house to build what? So we're very fortunate, but there's always, you have to adapt to the growth. Okay, man, I'm speaking for any kind of subcontractor. We need 3 more trucks and 10 more guys and 3 more trailers and this and that. And you get all the logistics in place, and I need a bigger shop and this and that, which, of course, your rent's going up constantly because you live in this town.
Yep.
But there's always that thought of, whoa, am I putting the cart before the horse? Are things going to slow down? Am I moving too fast? I've been criticized of growing the company very slow, which I have grown the company very slow because of that.
Right.
I don't want to just go out and, oh man, things are going to, yet sometimes we look back and go, man, we could have been twice as big as we are now, but you never know. So I think that's one of the things, I think with builders as well, it's a concern.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you're right. I mean, this has been it's been a topic of discussion before about the skilled labor market and kind of this, this quote unquote skills gap, where you're seeing a lot of the older workers are retiring, but there's not enough kind of young guys filling their place. And are you experiencing that at all?
I believe so. Yeah, absolutely. I think, the younger generation, and I'll be careful saying this, but there's some entitlement there for sure, but for a good reason. A lot of these older guys are leaving their construction careers with nothing, Social Security if they were not 1099'd.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to lift these skilled laborers up and make sure they have a retirement, make sure they have a future plan, make sure they feel comfortable with the company. Hey, we're not going to just change our name because of a lawsuit. You got brick and mortar, you have a solid foundation.
Yeah.
But I do think the older, the real, craftsman, in some sense, it's a dying craft. Yeah. It's a dying trade, I think.
You kind of alluded to earlier about culture, at least within your own company. How do you go about making sure, that everybody is kind of the same mind, has the same goals in mind? And
well, great question. It kind of starts off with, we don't really have a hierarchy type. A lot of people don't know who their immediate boss is, okay? Yeah. Which kind of sounds unorganized, but it works for the most part.
Okay.
I think combine that with the cliche, work hard, play hard. Mm-hmm. We take that a little too far sometimes, but we do a lot of things with people. We do hunting, we do Vegas, we do whatever it is. We know people's kids by names. We involved in all that.
Nice, yeah.
We had probably one of the best things I could do is for a career. My general manager has been with me for 18 years. His name is Cody. Very dedicated employee. Mm-hmm. And I was at a birthday party for one of his kids at his house. I'm looking in his backyard. We're hanging out. He's grilling, drinking beer, whatever. And I'm looking at the back of his house going, man, this guy needs windows, siding. Mm. He's been so dedicated to the company for 18 years. You lose sight on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I was looking at it, I thought, man, we should hook him up. I want to do like a home makeover thing.
Oh, wow. Really?
So I went back to the office and I got a couple key employees together. Mm-hmm. One, his name is Brian. He's kind of related to Cody in a certain way. And then Travis, our warehouse manager, but he's now like our everything manager, it seems like. And famous last words, I have an idea. Yeah. Now they run if I say that.
Right.
Look, man, I got this idea. Let's Cody's going on vacation. Let's renovate just the two sides of his house. Mm-hmm. Let's do new siding, new windows.
Nice. Yeah.
Well, as people found out about this, it started escalating. Well, he needs a new roof. Okay, well, luckily, guess what? We employ a roofer.
Dang.
Hey, what do you think about a roof? I got you. Okay, cool. Okay, so siding, windows, and roofing. Well, look at his porch. It's falling apart.
No way.
So, guess what? We have a guy named Danny. He's great. He's a carpenter. Can you build a deck? Sure, of course I can. Okay. Nice. What about porch? We need a pergola of some sort. Oh, yeah. We could do this out of red cedar and all this. Okay. And stupidly, I said, man, when I was over there, I noticed that Cody kept washing his hands. He kept having to go inside because he was cooking.
Oh, sure.
I was like, he needs an outdoor kitchen.
Of course.
Lonnie, at this point, it's like, okay, let's do it out. We're window and door people, okay?
Yeah.
But luckily, we have all the right. So we got the company together and said, look, let's creative thinking. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
He's only gone for 4 days. Let's redo these two sides. Let's build an outdoor kitchen with a grill, with a sink, new porch, new deck, everything in 4 days.
Wow.
Yeah. They're like, you're crazy. There's no way this can happen. But as people, and some of his family kind of got involved. They heard about what's going on. It's a big hush-hush. It's a bit secret. Okay.
And he had no idea the whole time?
He had no idea.
Wow.
So literally, as soon as he left that driveway, I think he was going to Disney World or something, we had a truck and trailer coming in right behind him.
No kidding.
To drop off material and start demoing.
That's so cool.
And we worked our asses off a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, new siding, new windows, new doors, whole new roof, a new deck, this beautiful red cedar pergola with a metal roof, outdoor sink. We had a mason that did all the rock work because this outdoor kitchen was covered with stone.
That is so cool.
I mean, it was Every employee in that company contributed one way or the other. Yeah. And actually, full transparency, we actually had to go out there the 5th day to just kind of put the final.
Yeah.
Like we bought them new outdoor furniture, new lights. What I'm getting at is that's how you build culture with the company.
Absolutely.
Cody can afford this, but he dedicates so much time and energy to the company. Mm-hmm. Let's do this for him.
Yeah.
Let's make it a surprise. Unfortunately, I wasn't there for the end, when he got back. I think I had a meeting or something, but tears and just complete
I can imagine.
What the heck? How'd y'all do this? We're only gone for 5 days.
That's so cool.
So bring it in, and when you do something like that, you get back to real life, you get back to work, we go up, we have this huge, complicated, super expensive door system to put in. Mm-hmm. We can do it.
Yeah,
no one else can do it. Look what we just got done doing.
Exactly.
So that's a culture. That's what we love bringing. That was probably one of the most rewarding parts of my career, being able to offer that financially, but also just the balls, right? It's like, man, I got an idea. Let's do this, guys.
Yeah.
And we did it.
You had the means and the ability to do it, and
that tells you that the people that surround me, and they are the best.
Absolutely.
And that's a good example. I'm not saying giving you an example of how we're the best window and door installers, the best window and door, this, that. If we have something in our mind, something has to be done. We have a deadline. We have a no shit moment.
Yeah.
We're getting it done.
Yeah.
We have the best minds, the best people, no matter what the circumstances.
Absolutely. Well, man, that's a fantastic story. I mean, what a testament to the company, to the people who work for you, and to you as a leader. I mean, that's awesome. And just being able to have the means to be able to do that and to actually do that, that's awesome. And that is super rewarding, I bet. I mean, that's do that for somebody.
Now we're doing all this social media stuff, which I'm not a social media person.
Yeah.
We have people that geek out about that, which is good for the company, and they're doing a great job at it. But this is not anything that was public. We just did it. And one of our guys, one of our installers, Rodrigo, he's been with us for 16, 17 years. So, and he was just all in, and he's like Mr. Workaholic, and he did actually a lot of the siding and helped us, but just seeing a different light in their face when they're talking about, hey, this isn't making money, right? This is helping somebody out. Seeing that change in them, It was awesome. Loved it.
Well, I want to end on one question. And it might be kind of a tough question, but if you could snap your fingers and change one thing about the construction industry, what would it be?
That's a tough question.
Yeah.
As it relates to windows and doors, my company. Okay.
Whatever you want.
I think if I could snap one thing, it would be less liability and risk for all subcontractors. I think builders and homeowners and architects, I think they don't. There's a level of constant stress when it comes to. I was talking to a roofer the other day, and he's like, "Man, if it rains, I can't sleep."
Exactly. Yeah.
There's just a different level of worry there, and as confident and comfortable as I am with our company, you never know. Something can go sideways with the builder and the homeowner that we don't know anything about, and it can come kind of bite us later. So if I could just snap my fingers, go, okay, I don't know what the answer would be. You can't prevent Thomas J. Henry's always out there, right?
He's everywhere.
But if there's something there that we can help protect ourselves from that, especially if we do something right, because even if you do something right, sometimes you have to spend $25,000 to prove that you did not do anything wrong, right? So if there's something like that out there, I guess if I can snap my fingers, that would be it. I can't wish for, cooler jobs or more work, because we're blessed beyond measure on what we have here in Austin, and
awesome
with our architects and our builders. And some of the builders, I mean, they have elevated everybody's game.
Yeah.
And I think that's something a lot of subcontractors don't give their builders enough credit for, which I've been very vocal about, where I've talked to some of my builders like, man, thank you for the checks and thank you for allowing us to do your job. But man, you taught us so much. Mm-hmm. Like it's been amazing.
Yeah.
So I feel like I need to give them money back, even though probably broke even when it's all said and done.
Sure.
But also, I think if I can add one more thing, snap your finger. Skilled labor, subcontractor, like the boots on the ground. Austin's so expensive to live in.
Yeah.
And any company, if it's a construction company, no one really lives in Austin. Everybody lives outside of Austin. They can't afford Austin.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not advocating that these houses cost even more than they do, but something to do to help elevate the employees, boots on the ground, the sales staff, what makes that company go from whatever they were to what they are now, how to award those employees without giving away the farm. But getting them to the salary or hourly rate, whatever it is, what they can provide a good living, they have a family, all that kind of stuff. If I could, because I've seen it, a lot of people we've hired, they've come from the 1099 thing where they have nothing. Yeah. Right? And they've been busting their ass for X amount of years doing what they're doing. They're good at it. Mm-hmm. And they've made a good salary, a good hourly pay, whatever. Well, let's think about when you're 65 or older.
Sure.
I just turned 45, so it's something I'm constantly thinking about now. It's like, man, I only got
it's around the corner.
About 20 years left of me. So I think that's something else where, again, there's no answer. I don't have the answer for it, but to help elevate some of the skilled labor and just everything that goes into making that house this thing of art. Yeah. Somehow get all the major players to comfortable living.
Well, that's a solid, heartfelt answer. So, but yeah, that's the challenge, isn't it? Making sure everybody's taken care of. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, John, it's been awesome. I appreciate you coming on and, great conversation. I think 2024 is going to wind up to be a good year.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah, okay. I think we'll see how this election goes. It's going to be pretty wild, but
election year is always,
there's always something.
What's kind of happened this year? Well, I tell you what, we're ready to grow quite a bit this year. Yeah. We have all the right people in place.
Okay.
There's never that one person. It's always the right people. We have a good focus. We're changing a lot of things internally. That's a little bit of a struggle right now, but it's going to turn into something we can really lean on. So we're shooting for the sky.
Absolutely. I mean, what else are you going to shoot for?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. John, I appreciate your time.
All right, Lonnie. Thanks, bud.